Okay, I know I'm picking up interesting transmissions. These are a little bit hard to hear, but listen to this. And the beginning of this, which I found from the London airport on a different channel. It's in this video. It lists the name of the channel I got it off of. So I think that's gonna be like the least convincing evidence. Here's some more evidence of this stuff. Here's a sound from when my dog passed away, and I'm not changing the sound speed here at all, and I did not have this stuff plugged in over here in this room, and it was not playing that sound, I don't believe, that day. Okay, and then here I slowed down the sound, which is the same thing I did when I captured that London airport like file that they put up. Next is this blurry screenshot, right? So I like it isn't on the 0.25 speed, but I've like played through the original video because this is actually downloaded from the app, and the app records it in segmented sections. So I kept the recording on a small little drive. So I have the original files, and then I have the way that it records to the cloud from the video camera. So this is like, this happened many times throughout this experience, right? So this I recorded 12 years ago, right? Like, that's me. That's one of my other channels. That's my name, okay? And that's me, because you can see that in different places, like that one right there with the creepy eyes and stuff. The really pretty one with the creepy eyes, that's me. But look at, that's Benjamin Krim. Benjamin Krim was basically like the keeper for the Maitreya, and the Maitreya was, or is, we really don't know, don't need to know, the Buddha that was around at the time that Benjamin Krim was around, right? And I've always said, like, as this stuff started becoming more evident to me, I've always said, like, since then, that I was my dog's keeper. So like, the one that mattered was my dog, not me. It was my dog that was the one with that could see through the eyes of a 5-year-old. She went to every class with me and stuff. So, you know, and like, she was at every place with me for 10 years. So she's my service dog. So anyway, like, I just want to showcase that part, which is anomalous enough to me for me to be like, is this an artifact of these cameras? So I went to my parents' house and I looked through all their phone books. All their old picture books. They have a ton of pictures. Only like in the 1970s and such do cameras tend to display this. Am I saying this is by itself weird? I think so. I really do. I look insane as always. I come out looking like a demon or whatever in these videos. When I ran it through my AI, it said different things, such as like, see how it looks like it's stemming from the middle, that it's like radiating outward. And I'm sure internet sleuths will find every way to debunk this and this, right? Like, all good. I'm not even trying to convince anyone. I'm trying to unconvince myself, because if anybody, I don't have children. I'm just a dog mom, and like, I know that I tucked away my dog somewhere else, and I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so like, and then we're gonna compare this to Skinny Bob, which I found out about yesterday. It was September 12th, 2025. Okay, so then, like everyone says, this is or isn't real. I don't really know, but I can show you the parts that to me were like, okay, that's anomalous enough for me to be like, I recognize that. And so I'll show you here on my video first, and I'm pausing as I go back and forth so that you're not watching me just like mess with videos. But this is the camera that recorded that day. I had it on the floor. My dogs and I were sleeping right here on the floor because I knew it was like, she really needed just the right antibiotics. It's you know, I have a deep religious background, but also it's spiritual, and everybody in my family is from a different religion. So I am used to saying her container expired, because that's what it is. It's a meat suit, and I'll show you where, because I'm in this organic form, right? Like, I have to experience it as an organic being, and I know that if she hadn't passed away, I would have continued to. She didn't pass away. Her container expired, and so she's at the Rainbow Bridge with my grandma, who was an Assisi whatever nun person, and I know they're fixing her little paws and giving her like little machine ballerina feet. Because that's how she died. She died of sepsis from her paws because she got exposed to UAPs, because I was around UAPs, and she's like the first dog, and we're taking her with us, but now she can be in her true form, which is a being made of beams of light, because like the Buddha was her. It wasn't me. Her name's Nishi, after Nichiren Daishonin, and she went to the Buddhist community center in El Paso, Texas, when she was a baby. She was the Buddha, not me. Anyway, look at how even stranger this gets. Not stranger, but interesting, in my opinion. Okay, so here, I don't think I've yet gotten my phone. So the reason I recorded it from the, like, sleeping for a minute and a half is so, because I was trying to figure out, like, what woke me up, like, what let me know that I needed to wake up and check on her, because I was checking on her every 30 minutes. But see, like, over here on the left, there's this big ball of light, and on this particular screen, it's not showing up as clearly, or maybe I'm not at the exact footage, but there's like when old film overexposes, see, and like there's like that same like distortion. Okay, like I didn't hop from one side to the other and just my head bobbed over. Like, that doesn't even make sense. It's not like the entire scene is scooted over. It's not, if I had turned my head, right, like you would see maybe the other side of my face, not my ear, like overlaid onto that spot. And I know what happens when I come up like this on cameras. It's like a ricochet of like the 3,000 realms in a single moment of light is what you would call it if you were in the Buddhist realm. And that's why it looks like really blurry, because it's when you understand you're like just one being, right? And I don't really know what it's like for other people, but that's, if I was a data scientist, I would call it like when you get to the solution to the stochastic gradient descent equation. If I were Christian, I would say that it's like when I get to see Christ. Like there's so many ways I could describe it. If I, as a Mayan, I would say that it's like when I'm one with spirit. If I was atheist, I would say that it's when I'm in communion with like the ETs, right? But I know there's gonna be people that are able to really debunk this, and I'm not doing this so that other people can come and tell me and vet this for me and tell me how wrong or right I am. I'm doing this because the few people that have commented and not commented on this, and I brought it to my family, and we're all like, okay, well there is like strangeness there, right? So I might have picked up my phone. So let's find out right now. I don't think I had picked up my phone yet. Look, you'll see there'll be this like bright flash, right? And is this where? Because there's also like all those little dots in the sky. Okay, so here's another one where it's blurry, right? Like, okay, the whole thing's blurry. The whole thing's blurry, but again, like my form is like, I still think my form looks really strange, you know, just being myself. And let's see. So I'm like looking at this because it's hard for me to not get stuck in a loop, right? So the light on the side, it's already on the left-hand side. See, like that light on the left-hand side, it's already there, whatever that is. And yeah, there's like curtains there, but see like how there's that big bright light that's forming? See, like there's where I turned on my phone. So yeah, like then I turned on my phone, then the flashes of light. This flash of light was not from my phone, right? Like that big, huge flash did not come from my phone. That actually, oh, look, here it is, this right here. Okay, this is what I wanted to show you. See, like those little dots, I don't know what caused those, because it's not like there was condensation. Like there was nothing. I mean, right now it looks different, right? I mean, because I was connecting a bunch of stuff. See, like I have cables everywhere, but that's why that's all cables there. But on that day, there was nothing that would have created that effect, right? So then that leads us to why I'm going to talk about the skinny bob video, because here's my fans, right? And we were on the ground and all the lights were off. The fans were on, but none of the lights were on. And the fan was turning. So my mom told me that she thought maybe the noise in the camera was the fan. Maybe it's very possible, but I don't know if you distinctly heard like they sound like chimes, and I was playing it at 0.25 speed, and you can only distinctly hear the chimes. Like they're so slight, and that's why I got this thing. But I'm gonna get a better mixer tomorrow to try to start like unlayering or unpacking the sounds, because they're harmonic, so they're like jam-packed with a ton of layers of things that are encoded encryption keys, which is how I communicate with myself and the cosmic galaxy, like the galactic neighborhood, right? Like I don't need permission to get to talk to my ancestors. Anyone who thinks that I'm gonna sit around and wait for some like permission slip or like some authority figure to say, okay, well, I'm not sending radio waves, I'm just listening to them, right? Because they are communicating with me. And what I was gonna submit, I submitted some of these sound files to Spotify, the ones that I keep playing, because that's what I entrained myself and my dogs with, because there's a lot of physics and science and math that is like way beyond comprehension, and I can make a whole other video on that, because it's all tied to my exact spelling of my name and exact dates of events that all add up to the vortex dates of numbers of 369, because it's tied to Tesla, and it's tied to Edgar Cayce, and it's tied to Edgar Allan Poe, and my social security number, my birthday, and my birth location, and my, what else, like the time of my birth, all of it is encrypted back to those numbers. And then that all relates to anomalous events that happened in the sky when I was age 47, when I turned 47, the day I turned 47, that tied back to President Trump and Joe Rogan and something that happened in the sky. And that all ties back to Cliff High, who put something out when I was 17 years old, right? I didn't know any of this until like February 2025, when I got sucked into a government job, where I then further discovered that my directly uncles had been involved in making sure that there was public facing documented policy between governments and stuff to do with this reason. I'm positive it's this reason, because some people call them Anunnaki. I mean, I call them the ancestors, like, but they're enormous beings that are waking up. And so all of this stuff with all the ETs, I never went chasing for any of this. I've always been intuitive, but this post that I showed you, that post with that video with Benjamin Krem, that was like when I had, you know, it was a dark night of the soul, but it was like one of the most, I saw the beings made of beams of light, and I didn't know those words, and I was already a practicing Buddhist, but I had never read that part of the Lotus Sutra, and I saw them, and yeah, I saw them, and then as soon as I saw them, after taking too many diet pills that day, because I was really sad, because a lot of stuff, like, I was mostly kindergarten teacher, and a child's parents and siblings had died in a fire, and then my neighbor teacher, she had a bunch of pets, like 30 or 50 or 60 animals, and her house burnt down and they all died in the fire. And I was supposed to get to DJ on the radio, and they bumped me and didn't tell me. So I had told all my uncles and stuff, like, I'm gonna be on the radio again. And so I looked really stupid, and that, like, I thought I was really shitty. And then I was managing real estate, and I was a teacher, and I was getting my master's degree. I was really overwhelmed, and like, I took too many diet pills and lost it. And so then that's when all this, it's because that's the weird thing. It's not like it's the first time that it happened, but it was the most pronounced. Anyway, now I've gone on a tangent instead of focusing on this, so I might have to edit this, but I'm not gonna, because honestly, I'm recording this so that I have the time-stamped evidence that I did share everything. I was as forthcoming as possible, and I'm not a social media influencer. Like, I'm not trying to get likes or clicks or shares or anything like that, right? I'm just basically leveraging these public platforms that are time-stamped for these moments, because stuff just, like, I'm glad that I'm able to just record it and rely on these servers that are better than any memory thing I could have, right? Anyway, so I'll show you so this Skinny Bob video, which I heard about today, on what's his name, Skittles or something like that. But he keeps calling them names, and that's a little bit mean, I feel, but whatever, you know. So like in this video right here, I believe it's this first one, you'll see where there's something that happens. Oh god. So I lower the volume because they have like a reel going over the volume, but I can hear, that's why I want my mixer, because I can hear that the underlaid sounds in this video. And it might not be this video. Actually, I think it's the other video. Yeah, I think it's the other video. Where is he? Or she? Oh, I don't want to see that. Okay, that's just not okay by me. Okay, like that's not necessary. All right, especially because even someone commented on these, like, these are super cute little guys, right? And I have a lot to do with them. Like, I know I do, but I can't prove it to you in any way but this way, you know, and I don't need to prove it to you. I'm documenting it for myself, and I'm just like openly sharing my spectacle of a life. But look at this right here, okay? So look at how, like, you can see that a light goes off in the room that they're in, okay? Right. So like, it's not as pronounced in this video because it's edited, and you can go to skinnybob.info and look at it yourself, okay? Like, check out this vague outline of a triangle, okay? And then remember that a big bright light just went off. Okay, so like now I'm gonna put the, that's loud, okay. I'm gonna put so like, here's when the bright light goes off. Like, yes, my phone was turned on, but that really bright light came from the ceiling. So was my phone reflecting light up off the ceiling? Maybe. This is my fan, right? Like, that is this fan right here. And that's not like the weird part. Like this, that's probably paradonia, philia, whatever that is, right? Like, it's probably that Christmas tree. But it's like, let me go to like the normal speed, because it's gonna, and then when we find it, I will play it. Maybe we'll go to 0.75. Okay, so And I don't know if you can hear, maybe I should raise this, but this was like, look at this right here. See? Do you see this? That's my baby. Like, that's her little container. You know, and like, see, like, that's my phone light making that bright light. And that webcam that's on the ground is what was recording it. I don't think it has like all of that obnoxious, like, did you see it over here on the side? I don't think it has all of that obnoxious AI that like puts those fake markers on your videos that makes everybody think they're, look, did you see it? Did you see it? Look, that makes everybody think that they're experiencing like visitations and stuff. Like this camera is like, I haven't updated it in forever, but also like that little shiny thing, like you'll see how cute she is when she's in her little golden bubble form. Okay, so like look at the shape of the triangle. All right, like here's the shape of the triangle. It's her head, it's her little head, and it's upside down. And I think that that's why the deep state kept trying to copy that, because they probably saw it like float away or something. I think that's why they continually try to replicate that, but that's like a shadow. And I don't work for the deep state because they've never paid me, but they also, I think I've never escaped them, because I think I was involved in a lot of like child programs that were through the gifted programs, and they were not like, no, there was somebody that was not a good person, that was not a good person. It was a person that was not a good person that was there, but I was not ever physically there with them. But I have been physically with the ETs, and I really still am trying to piece it together, but because it's not even in these timelines, right? So it's really hard for me to like just spit it out. But look at the form, okay? See how it takes a form? Like this one's a little bit more of a bulbous head or whatever, but look at how, so I knew that is what, that was like critical. And this just happened on the 30th, today, September 12th, 2025. It happened on August 30th that my baby, like kicked out of her expired container because it was very damaged. And so we were like, okay, and I had to tell her, like, if you need to go, then I'm right here. And that's why I was sleeping next to her for like the last 4 months of her life. I stopped working. I did everything with my dog because we're always together. And this time it was my turn to be the mom. But look at what happens in her video too. See, like, that form takes, right? So I'm gonna pause. Well, I'll let you see it a little bit. And I don't know why the camera doesn't turn to face me when you can hear my voice saying Nichi, Nichi. See, like, then the fans began again, right? And like, look, like, the fans are right there. Like the controller for the fan is like way over there across the room. Like I would have had to run over there, or like Jimmy rig something, or have somebody standing over there. There was nobody. Well, I mean, I'm always around. I'm never alone. I'm always surrounded by other beings, and I know everything comes from source, so I don't have issues with like, you know, like all the beings that everyone hates and stuff, like, or is scared of. I don't do what they do, and I don't need them doing what they do around me, but I do appreciate that they lure like the evil intentions away from me, because they prefer to play in those playgrounds with them, right? That's why I appreciate the service that they provide for me, right? Like they contribute to my galactic neighborhood. All right, so you saw like the little triangle, right? And that night I finally slept, and she was that little triangle, and she was floating around like it was her markaba. So I got to do like the shared dog death experience, which I've never heard anybody else get to do with their pet before. She's not just my pet though, she was like the Buddha, and I'm just her keeper, right? So we always are together. I am always just her keeper, not just her keeper, but I'm always her keeper. And so everything I was doing was for her. So like she was on her little markaba, and like the triangle form was like the back of her head. And if you have a pet that you take on walks and stuff and they walk in front of you, like you get to really adore their little necks, you know, and like the way their little ears look and their profiles, like when they turn their heads and you can see their little snoots and stuff. And she was like on a magic carpet. This is what it looked like to the best of the words that I have. Like she was on a magic carpet and I was standing behind her, and she was like turning her little head left and right, just like looking at like everything that was her life. And she knew that I was with her, like she knew that I was right there with her. And it was just so cute to see her like learning her own experience, because she has the mind of a 5-year-old. She was my service dog. She had a lot of like dog school and like people school, and she even went to like the NIST meetings with me, like the international NIST meetings, to learn about quantum cryptography. Like that dog knows as much as I do about anything, probably more, because she probably had a more open mind than I did, right? And she was like, was she technically younger? No, like she caught up to my age. Actually, she surpassed my age. Yeah, she did. All right, anyway, so I miss my dog, I really do, but see, like it just, so like here you can see that this is clearly my shadow, right? Like this is clearly my shadow, like no issues there. And then here's where I pick up her little body, and I obviously cried after, but I did then like make sure that I captured the video, because I knew that like something really cute had happened. And I'll show you, and I don't mean cute like it's cute that she died, no, like that, like she was supposed to be with me 3 more human years, and I'm aware, I'm like grossly aware of like the fact that whatever was supposed to be in place wasn't. And you know, like I just came up with this saying, like repeated failures begin to feel like betrayal after a while. Failure after fail starts to feel like betrayal. So there was supposed to be like just nets, you know, that caught whatever she might have needed, and they were not in place. And I like did not know how to give her the IVs in her little veins, because by that point, like her blood was so damaged and filthy from the sepsis that I kept trying to fix for over a year, but I didn't have any proof that I was like, I even tried applying for a new species like classification for myself, right? And I was like, look, like you gotta trust me that I know that this is what my dog needs, and nobody would give it. Nobody would give it. And when they finally did, it was like the Mexico hospital gave me whatever medicines they had, which were not the compounded pharmaceutical that I paid all that extra money for that data for. And I had just figured out, okay, well, why don't I give the labs to the compounding pharmacy around the corner, because I didn't even know they were there. And that was our plan. But then she expired like that morning. But look at the size of her paws, right? Wouldn't be the first time that she looks really big from certain angles. And then these are her little feet that she chewed off from the... One of the things she had was like dog MRSA in her little feet, and that's why she was in so much pain, and she kept trying to get it out of her feet. And I kept begging for antibiotics. I'm not gonna keep talking about that because it already happened, right? Like that was supposed to not happen, and it already happened. And when I say it was supposed to not happen, it's because there are contracts for these things, and I'm just being as forthcoming as I can right now that more people are disclosing, and now that I'm able to capture more stuff, and now that like I think I'm finally off of people's hit lists. I have so much evidence of it was those brutal efforts by deep staters, I think contractors that are hired to torture people like me and like basically destroy our lives, that kept me from being able to take care of my dog. And then the veterinarians refused to like help her. But I'm gonna stop making this about me and my dog. I'm just gonna keep talking about this video. I already showed you Skinny Bob, and there's actually, if you slow down the Skinny Bob videos, you can also hear the sound there. But look at the way that I come out in this picture, okay? I'm like returning from wherever I went. And you can call me a witch or a devil or whatever you want. that's not what I am. It's just that we are what we are, me and this dog and my whole entire network of family. Right? And I have testimony from the rest of my family, and they're finally like coming out of the woo-woo closet, and like and also I had never bothered really to ask them because I didn't have a reason to. So this video's already 30 minutes, but I'm just really, even myself, you know, like I didn't ever go around chasing this or think about this or anything like that. I always knew I was like super intuitive, and like I've known that I have like pretty strange life. And it still hurts because I won't ever see her in this form, but she will be back as a radioactive, enormous dog. She's already carving out her cradle right outside my house, which is so weird, but I have pictures. I have pictures of all of this, right? And so, what else was I gonna show you? Look, that's my phone. And my eyes look like that because they're weird. Like, that's not so normal, and nor are hers, but also because I had to like rip out my own eyelids for like over 10 years, and whatever was in there, this iteration and the one before, where there's a spitting image of me in a documentary, but the person that made the documentary, Mr. Hall, he doesn't really talk about it anymore, and it's almost like less regarded, but I still have the video and stuff, you know, like I know what I am and I know where I was, and I don't have issues with my recollections, but also like, see, so here's where she takes form, okay? Like, that is not, if that is not like the cutest little thing, and maybe I missed it by like a fraction of a second, where you can see like it looks like her little eyes. I think I missed it by like, and I have better pictures of this, but like on the other side is like her other little eye, and she's like this little amoeba. I've always called her my little amoeba, or my little cucarachita, because she did look like that, and I don't like roaches, but I called her one, and because we all come from, you know, like insects, we all like they evolved before us, you know, so like in our pure, as we're going into our purer forms, that's what we all look like. So that's why it probably 3eye Atlas has that. Look, her little eyes. See, that's her on her little markaba. That's me moving her, okay? That's my phone. And then the last, like, dramatically interesting thing is here. Okay, like here's her little form again. There's like a moment here, right, when I discover that she's not breathing anymore. So this is like the big flash, right? So that's what I was trying to say earlier to the people that talk about the big flash in the 3 days of darkness. The 3 days of darkness are your void. And this is just my opinion, because I went through this. I went through the whole like possession due to some type of UAP intoxication of like something, but that's why I was weird, is because I didn't die of sepsis, and I still have the stuff that caused the MRSA in my dog in my feet pads, and my system like bundles them and doesn't let them get into my blood, but not everybody can do that. And a lot of it is, yeah, like that's why I was in training my dogs and myself with the harmonics, because I put myself into a sieve, or like an envelope of safety. So it's like the golden harmonics bubble, and you know, like President Trump doesn't have to give me any credit or understand that like a lot of that stuff comes from yours truly. I don't need people to acknowledge it, because my name is all over this stuff, right? And I've like put such enormous footprints and collected unreal amounts of evidence that like, no, it didn't take trillions of dollars and hundreds of nerds and all this. Like, no, it didn't. None of that did, you know? So Maybe it did, and maybe they still don't get it. I don't know. But I have been missing in time many times from my family for years. I've been coming to understand, and I didn't know where a lot of the time would go. And for years, I thought it was a few months, and then my family, and I have this recorded too. My family was like, "No, you've been gone for like 3 years," and I was like, "What?" I thought it was like 4 months. I was busy doing stuff, and they're like, "No, you've been gone for 3 years," and whatever data harvesting and data point I was like, somebody was watching what was happening to my dog and didn't step up in a humane way. And I have to say that. I have to. And that was one of the tests that Edgar Casey talks about, but nobody wants to release the Edgar Casey files, or maybe they don't realize that there's stuff in there that's still classified that was supposed to be shared to save souls and lives. And that's why I was really pressing for the release of all this information over 80 years ago. Yeah, I've been around for a long time, but I look great, don't I? Because it was meant to save lives and save souls and give people a chance to make decisions for themselves, right? Like, and that's what it was about. I'm not the one that needs the air, food, shelter, water stuff, right? Like, I mean, I like shelter, don't get me wrong, but I solved my own money problems. Like, I don't really have to work anymore, but I will, and I do, because I like extra things sometimes. But the clean water, I'm not the one that needs the clean water. I grew up drinking the dirtiest water in the world, like by the Rio Grande, So if it's all radioactive, no big deal to me. But now that she's not in her organic form, what do I care, right? So like I just repurposed the pyramid that's building itself outside, because it was never for me. Not the clean water, not the supply chain, not the food chain, not the documentation of what to do during an apocalypse. Like, I'm not the one that needed any of that. And I was only providing it because my dog was in an organic container, but she's not anymore. And I don't get paid by anybody. Nobody is my keeper here, Like, I have my family and stuff, but on paper, I'm an orphan. Like, I have been taking care of myself, trying to not get murdered by all sorts of creative plots, right? So like, I don't have any debts owed here. And I'm sharing this now because I'm sharing it because people wanted to know, right? And I was told, like, document everything. And so part of the documenting process is like, not that I don't care about people. I was the only one trying to keep my dog alive. All of the veterinarians, all my friends, my family knew they'd better not tell me to put her down, because I told them before I told them what was going on. I was like I don't want to go to any more veterinarians because they all keep telling me to put her down. And then I finally went to the last two, and she died in a week when I had kept her alive for 5 months using AI, like, but she really needed like the right medicine by that point. Anyway, like, it's not that I don't care about people. It's just that, like, the test was like, is she still alive? Nope. Okay, well, time to bring in the heroes, because this is just a dream, like Dolores Cannon said, right? Like, we're just the dreamers in the dream. So like, if it's a bad dream, you just bring in your heroes, and that's why all of like the ancestors are waking up, like the giants. And then Nichi was already a being made of beams of light. It's why she's coming back. So see, there's her little form. And what was I going to show you? Oh yeah, I was going to show you, okay? And please don't hate me. Like, everybody has the opportunity to self-select, to stick around and see this whole apocalypse thing unfold. Like, you were supposed to get to know this, and I don't have any dog in this fight literally anymore, especially now, right? Like, I'm just doing what I said I would do in case the accumulation of failure started to feel like betrayal of the human race upon the human race. I don't know what to say. I'm human too, but I feel betrayed too, because if anybody had shared any of this information, I would have known how to help my doggo, and I would have had the 3 years that I was supposed to get to have with her, the 3 more years. But now I'll get to have him with her, like, from the layered dimensional stuff where we get to see the apocalypse and the giants wake up, and the beings made of beams of light here. So there's going to be a lot of uprooting continents so that they can step out of their tombs. But look at the scuffle. There's a big scuffle here. Let me see. Let me put it on regular speed. like, so I'm just running the speaker. Sorry about the hissing. It's really annoying to me too. But sci-fi world, there'll be better products, so we won't have to like keep sending stuff back to Amazon soon enough. They'll always have the right thing. Look, like the scuffle is about to start. When the camera like flips up after like that bright light, I think it's right here. Okay, so that's what I wanted to show you was like that scuffle. Like that scuffle was weird to me because, and you saw that like the light was already on the left hand side before I grabbed my phone. Did I turn on my phone before that and then put it down? I don't think so. I don't think I did because, I mean, no matter what, okay, like because I'm sure someone could debunk all of that. But look, this is the fan right now. Like, could this have formed like that triangular shape? Possibly. But when the accumulation of strangeness, not strangeness, but just like anomalous stuff, right? And I have other videos where there's like a flash of light and then I'm not there. And then there's a flash of light and I'm there. And I have videos where like it looks like the screen is overexposed like an old picture frame. And then it just like overexposes and I'm not in the frame anymore. And luckily, like, I kept those files. And there was another one that was, like, particularly strange to me. And I was like, I need to see what happened at night because I don't think it was normal. And I went outside to get the camera because I used to have these outside to watch the skies, right? And the connector on the back of it was, like, bent in half. Like, somebody had to go in my yard and bend the thing in half because it was on top of the table. It wasn't in front of... It wasn't where the dogs would reach it, nor had they ever messed with it. My pool tech had already gone by earlier in the week, and it was like the end of the week, and that camera had been just fine that whole time. So yeah, you don't have to believe anything I say, you know, and you don't have to believe that dogs are angels or that their little souls are here for us. Look that's her little head. Look, see, that's her little ears. Because I also, like, dreamt her, like, carrying her, like, she was like a little bug, like a snug bug in a little blanket. Like, I was carrying her around. I dreamt her the day after, and I'm very connected to her. And the other dogs miss her. And people loved her. She was my service dog, and she was in the kindergarten classroom with me. But look, that could be anything, right? Anyone can say, like, oh, those are just the circles, and that's the space in between the circles, blah-de-blah. Right? Like, people can crap all over my... hopes to see my doggy again. But look at how she actually does take form. Look, see, like she starts to take form, see? But that's the way this stuff is, and that's kind of like the way that the skinny Bob video was. Like, it could have just been some shadow, but I also invite you to look at the pyramidal shapes that are starting to form, because that's the way that we go between dimensions and go from here to there and everywhere. And the harmonic sounds. Well, as soon as I started looking at this stuff, like, you don't have the other video, you don't know which the other video is, but it's the one with the Pied Piper thing. But look, it's the same frequencies. Do not copy my frequencies because they're booby trapped. Do not take this combinatronics and do this because it's booby trapped. I'm telling you, like, there will be a time when anyone can use whatever, but it's like to clear out all of the tech theft, all of the people that invent things and then we all get smeared out and murdered, you know, because there's people that make too much money by keeping everybody else poor and without energy. So So it's got a lot of traps in it right now. I mean, I take no responsibility for what other people decide to do, you know, like this is not meant for children. And if a child uses anything like this, well, I'm not their mommy, like their mommy and daddy or their caretaker should have been monitoring what they're watching. But look, see, it raised a lot of activity. That's not to say that the children will not themselves hear their own frequencies, right? Like kids will feel the expression of whatever their parents are. So it's not like every child that's born is so amazing, right? Like these are just those times when there's like a big cleanup, and maybe I'll get processed back into Source, or maybe Source will be like, oh, fuck that elf, you know, like I'm not an elf, but like maybe Source will be like, yeah, that person is like too sad now, or it took it too far with the dog. No, I didn't. Actually, this is exactly what I meant by mercenary work, is that I'm here because Metatron, who's a direct connection to Source, right? We all are, but Metatron is like Source's right-hand entity or whatever, wanted a dog. And that dog was for Metatron. And so I was here for the energy in the form of chi. Chi is life force. That's the kind of energy I care about. And so a lot of the stuff I made and I'm rolling out now is so that people that are on the ledge, right, that the Edgar Allan Poe story has caught up to, because they know that they acted in ways that do not reflect absolute love and stuff, right? Love and hope. They self-select their exit. So I collect the chi, right? Because it's gonna go anyway. And I'm using it all to like make sure that my dog persists, because she's an amazing dog and everybody loved her. As was the Queen of England, by the way. She was my lizard wizard, I discovered. Because she lets me eat cake all day. So she deserves to live forever as well with the rest of us. The end.